Hello? I gotta figure out what this is. Hello? All right, I'm back. Hello? Wait, man. See, it's always different. I'm trying to figure out what's this back feed. Hello? All right, back. Hello? Wait, see, it's always different. I'm trying to figure out what's this back. Hello? Hold on, Chad. I'm getting an echo somewhere. Hello? I'm getting an echo somewhere. Hello? Maybe this. Hello? Maybe this. I think I fixed it. Go back for good. I had to turn the microphone down a little bit. What's up, chat? What's up, chat? Appreciate y'all for joining me. This is the Stock Sniper Morning Show. I haven't done this show in a couple of weeks, but it's back. It's back. So we're going to react to Donald Trump. You don't know there is a ceasefire agreement again. It's a ceasefire agreement again. And you know, these ceasefires, this is probably like the second or third one. So maybe this one a hold, but we have to also got to understand Israel, you know, what Israel want to do. So every time there's a ceasefire, Israel always strike Lebanon. So, hey, what's up, Ishmael? What's up? What's going on? What's up, the Don? Hindu, Buddha, shut up. All you gotta do is just scroll away. Appreciate you for joining though. You just want to make money on this. If you say so. If you say so. And I mean, ain't you supposed to want to try to make money, Hamdi? Aren't you supposed to uh want to make money? That's what you're supposed to do. You don't work, you don't. So if you say I'm trying to make money off this, what's wrong with that? Ain't nothing wrong with that. But I appreciate you for coming through, rocking with me though. Maybe you, instead of typing, create you some content. You know, create you some content. It's good to know what's going on around the world. Hamdi. It's good to know what's going on around the world. So you want to know what's going on around the world. Hey, what's up? SLX, appreciate you for joining. What's up, chat? What's up, chat? Appreciate y'all for joining me, whatever platform you are watching on. Thank you for coming through. Thank you for coming through. We got the Conservative OG. If you're on the Conservative OG channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're getting some good numbers over there on the Conservative OG channel. So we appreciate y'all for rocking with us. This is I'm on two different channels. I'm on the Freedom of Speech channel and I'm on the Conservative OG channel. I'm also on Twitch, Kick, and Rumble. So everybody that's just now coming in, we're about to get ready to listen to what the president got to say. You know, we're going to react to it a little bit. So we're going to watch this little clip. Who doesn't want to make money streaming? Working fucking sucks. Wickman. Yeah, who doesn't want? Yeah, that's a fact. But the thing is, you know, you got to find something you love to do. Whatever, you have to find something you want to do. Learn you a good skill, and you got to master it. You know, that will make working fun. You know what I'm saying? Because listen to the OG. You have to find something you love to do. How are you going live? I got more than 50 subs, but cannot go live. Well, it's a button somewhere. Once you get over 50, it's a button somewhere, and then you have to press go live. You know what I'm saying? And then you're able to go live. You know what I'm saying? But it took me a while. Once I got the 50 subs on the Conservative OG channel, it took a while for them to activate the live button. So if you already pressed that button, just wait. It took me probably, after I got to the 50 subs, it took well over a month for them to activate the button. So I was able to go live after that. Hey, what's up, Damn Media? Appreciate you for joining. I was able to go live, you know, after we got the 50 subs, but it just took a while for them to activate the like button. Once they activate the like button, then we was good to go. Appreciate y'all. Okay. Thank you for the tip. Yeah, it took a while. So just they'll let you go live. Just hang in there. What's up, chat? Appreciate y'all for joining. We about to get ready to react to what's going on, the latest things that are going on around in the world. You know, as you don't know, there's another ceasefire agreement between America and Iran. Hopefully this one holds up, but we need Israel, you know, to kind of chill out, you know, and let everything work out. So without further ado, I am your host, the one and only Stock Sniper. Whatever platform you're watching us on, if you're on YouTube, I appreciate you. Twitch, Kick, Rumble, whatever platform you're watching us from, we appreciate you. So let's react to this clip to see what the president is going to say about what's going on around the world.
Communism is very easy to sell.
Wait, what's going on now? Hold on, chat. Hold on.
Destroys everything, but it's very easy. I'll be honest, I think I'd be the greatest communist in history. I'd give free rent. Ladies and gentlemen, from now on, you don't have to pay any rent. From now on, anybody wants a house, don't worry about it. Just pick the house you want. Everybody gets free food. Everything is free from this point forward. Everyone's going to vote for me. The problem is, after 2 or 3 years, the country is a disaster area. The country fails. They always do.
Hold on, Chad.
It always does. So easy to sell. That first year, boy, you're the most popular. It's happening right now in New York and California. but you'll start living in squalor.
Damn.
You'll live in squalor. There will be no food. There will be no housing. There will be
Hold on,
no
let me try to
military. There will
redo
be no
this.
law and order. There will be no nothing. There will be no nothing.
Let me try
You'll
to
be a
reload
third
this.
world. As you saw with the communists elected in New York City recently, they're communists, they're not social democrats. They want to completely destroy the traditional American way of life. Communism is very easy to sell. It destroys everything, but it's very easy. I'll be honest, I think I'd be the greatest communist in history. I'd give free rent. Ladies and gentlemen, from now on, you don't have to pay any rent. From now on, anybody wants a house, don't worry about it. Just pick the house you want. Everybody gets free food. Everything is free from this point forward. Everyone's going to vote for me. The problem is, after 2 or 3 years, the country is a disaster area. The country fails. They always do. It always does. So easy to sell. That first year, boy, you're the most popular. It's happening right now in New York and California. Living in squalor. Assassinations of those who oppose them is a very important element of their ideology. Assassination's a big deal for them. They're animals. They're animals. In many cases, they're not smart, but in some cases, they are. It's easy for them to get followers because they make promises that they know they can't keep, and the Democrats aren't fighting back. That's why they're dumb. They're not fighting back. They're afraid. I watch Schumer. He's afraid to fight. I watch guys that are pretty normal and guys that we oppose, they're afraid to fight. The Democrats have taken a tremendous turn left, and many of these people, I looked at some of the people that got elected the other night in New York. These are, in many ways, stupid people, in some ways, and intellectually probably pretty smart. But they're people that want to destroy our country. They hate our country. They hate our people. They hate the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party is in big trouble because this isn't stopping with New York. This is going all. It's too easy to get elected, giving everything away. Too easy to get elected. Very dangerous. But you'll soon have nothing left. That's the problem. In many ways, they're allowing them to just go their own way, do your own. We don't want to take a chance on saying anything bad because we're afraid we're going to lose our jobs if we do. They're afraid they're going to lose their election if they even think about saying anything bad about this new breed of sick people. They're not smart enough or tough enough to fight the plague that's happening. It's happening right before your very eyes. If they fought them the way they fight Republicans or the way they fight me, they'd be victorious. They didn't beat us, but they'd be victorious against the communists, but they don't have the courage to do so. So they're turning communists themselves. It's becoming a communist party. These are not social democrats. These are hardcore, godless communists. They're godless communists. All communists are godless. They don't believe in God. This is the most serious threat to our country since its existence, in my opinion. Foundations of America. These ruthless communists will attack all religions, but in particular Christianity. They always do. They're after Christianity more than any other religion. It seems to be.
I'm back, Chad. I had to redo it because I had an echo in the background and it was real annoying. So, yeah, I had an echo in the background. I had 2 tabs up of my streaming app, my streaming service, and that's why I was getting the echoing. So I fixed it. You know what I'm saying? I just got tired of that echoing, Chad. So I hope people will come back in because I exit out of the other one because I had 2 of them going at the same time. I kept hearing this feedback, this echoing, and man, it was just annoying. Y'all didn't hear it, but I heard it. Hey, what's up, Critical 509? The harder you work for something, the more you appreciate it. Yeah, that's right. The harder, but yeah, on another topic, you know, I got to get back to this, but this also been on my mind. It's a lot of people these days that just don't want to work, chat. But that's going to be another topic. I think I'm going to talk about that on the walk down about, for some reason, the spirit of laziness is just at an all-time high, in my opinion. It seems like nobody want to work. They want to live off somebody, you know what I'm saying? Or they just don't want to work, or they work 4 to 6 months and then lose their job or quit. But I think that is a big problem. And in my opinion, that problem is going to get worse and worse. You know, nobody want to work. A lot of people just don't want to work, you know, and that's a big problem with all these jobs that's starting to get created. You know, that's a big problem. Nobody wants to go to work, you know, and don't want to go to school. They don't, like we talking about, find something you love to do and master it. So a lot of people don't want to go to school, don't want to go to trade school, don't want to build up their skills. You know, they don't want to work. You know, and that is what I call spirit of laziness, you know. And once that spirit of laziness get on you, it's hard to get it off, you know. And in my opinion, I think this spirit of laziness is starting to spread from generation to generation. You got a generation where the mama and the daddy don't work. Then you got the next generation, the kids don't want to work. You know, they're not used to seeing mama work, and they're not used to seeing daddy work. They're used to seeing mama and daddy live off other people or just barely get by. You know, and once a kid sees that, guess what? A kid be like, well, mama, how can you tell me to go to work? Or daddy, how can you tell me to go to work when I never seen you go to work? So I think it's a crisis that's starting to brew in America for sure. It's a crisis. People just don't want to work. You know what I'm saying? They want a handout. You know what I'm saying? You got older people and younger people don't want to go to work, and then they go, and if you try to get them to go get a job, they go look at one place, maybe 2 places, and then say they can't find a job, nobody's hiring. You know, I've been seeing that a whole lot lately over the last 3 or 4 years. There's a lot of people just don't want to work. So let's continue with this chat. Appreciate y'all for joining me. Critical 509, just, you know, that comment, the harder you work for something, the more you appreciate it. Well, you know, a lot of people just don't want to work. And that's crazy. So here we go, chat. I fixed the problem. That echoing stuff, I mean, it was annoying. So I had to find out what it really was. And guess what? We found out what it was, and we back. We back. As on another note, the stock market is open. We're gonna talk about SpaceX for a second, because a few people was asking me when SpaceX IPO'd and came. Well, IPO, if you don't know, when SpaceX was available to trade on the stock market, I had a few people asking me, was I going to get in? You know, and like I said, those IPOs, particularly a company like SpaceX, very, very popular the first day it came out. The first day it came out, it was very, very popular. And a lot of people bought in, and it went all the way up to 230. Like I said, a lot of these, when these companies hit the stock market for the first time, it's best to just let all the excitement, let all the excitement of people buying, traders specifically buying and selling in big institutions, let all that, pass by, and once people start selling and taking profits and it dies down, all the hype died down, then you're able to, get at a good price. Now, the price that I got in at, right around 163, but I'm not really, it's 159 right now, so it's kind of down. I'm not really too worried about it because SpaceX, as we know, is a great company. It's already a great company. It just was a private company, and now that it's public, we're able to trade it or buy it for a long-term investment. So what I'm trying to do right now, I wanted to get under $100. So I think I bought 9 shares. I got 9 shares at about $163, and I'm wanting it to go up under 100. That's what I'm wanting. Right now, on Money Monday, it's getting back up to 160. It dipped down to 145, 146. Now it looked like, it has settled down, and now we're starting to get a little bit of hype, and it's starting to go back up. But this is a long-term investment, SpaceX. I added it to the portfolio, and I'm right around 163, which I think that was pretty good because my plan was to take the profits once it got up to 230, 225. I wanted to just take the profits, but I didn't. I just, we're just going to stick to the original plan of long term. So right now we're holding it long term. The stock market is Money Monday. Everything is green. And that's what I'm doing right there on SpaceX. I had somebody ask me about it, and it's always good to just wait, just wait a couple of months or just wait and watch. Find you a good price that you want to get in at, because, you don't want to get in at the top, right? You don't want to get in up here. You want to get in at a price kind of down low and just dollar cost average in as time goes and stockpile these shares, and hold them for long term. I talk about long term investing a lot. So SpaceX is a great company, and I had just added it to the portfolio as we move along. Let's get back over here where we were at, Chad. Let's get back over here where we were at. Okay, let's go. We got everything rocking and rolling now. Now we can continue with the show. And we got 10 people in the building. Appreciate y'all for coming through, rocking with me, whatever platform you on. Thank you for coming through, rocking with me. This is the Stock Sniper Morning Show, where we talk about a lot of things. We talk about the economy. We talk about politics. We talk about health. We talk about sports. We got a lot going on over here. So appreciate y'all for joining me. We're 25 minutes in. Let's go. Everything ready to rock now? Let's go.
Be more and more throughout the world, maybe because we're doing so well. I don't know. Maybe if we weren't doing well. But you see the numbers, how they're growing, how the churches are filling up. It's a beautiful thing to see. I mean, look, it happens to be during my presidency, so I don't mind taking credit for it. I'm very proud. But a lot of great things are happening. All communist countries attack religions violently. It's part of their deal. As you know, we recently struck Nigeria and largely ended the slaughter of great Christian populations. They have a great Christian population. They were being butchered. Thousands and thousands of people were being killed. Children, women, old people, just being slaughtered, hatched to death. They know that if they go further, the attack will be far greater, and that They don't want to really get involved anymore so much. You know, we hit them very hard. We knocked out their leader. We knocked out their second leader and their third leader. Sounds a little bit like Iran, actually. That's all about a different cause that we have to do, because we cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. Can't let it happen. So I'm saving Christians throughout the world, even though we are not in those various countries where you read about this. But they'd like to make our country just like those countries. That's where they started. They started right where we are right now. But I'm saving them by hitting these terrorists very violently and very hard. We're hitting them very hard by the greatest weapons on earth, taking them out. We know where they are. We hunt them down and we take them out. Think of it. They go into a village and they just kill everybody. It's like crazy. They will close your churches in this country. They go communist, and they're trying to. They will kill your people, and that's what they're about. They want to end religion. They have to end religion because their ideology doesn't work if you have strong religion. People like you that are so incredible and love our country so much and love God. This is the greatest threat to our country since its founding, in my opinion, 250 years ago, what's happening right now. It's the greatest threat. People don't look at that, well, oh, 3 people were elected. No, it's many more than 3 people. And the other people are being swayed because they don't have the sense to see what's happening. They don't have the sense. Their followers are not leaders, even though they're politicians, in some cases successful ones. For the first time in history, the powerful Rent Stabilization Board, as an example, that sets rents in New York City, just happened today. They've done it for years and years, and they've been very far left. They're run by Democrats, and they give landlords a hard time for years and years. It's called rent control. They give landlords a hard time, but they always give some increases so they can survive. But they just came out, first time ever, with a ruling, 0 rent increases for landlords, 0 for the next 2 years, despite the fact that energy, supplies, real estate taxes, and just about everything else has gone up. They're supposed to allow you to have that. 0. They're giving them that. They're basically confiscating their property. And the one representative for the landlords who's on the board, I think they have 8 or 9 people on the board, and you had one who was representing one out of like 8. But at least you had somebody. But that person walked off in disgust, walked off and got booed. Mayor Mamdani, who came to the White House and seems like a nice guy, but he said he was going to do this in his campaign. Nobody thought he was serious. He said he was going to make sure that people don't have a rent increase, even though energy went up. It's going to come down. It's coming down fast right now. I hope you're watching what's happening. We had a low number just now, $69 a barrel. That was... Some people said it was going to be 350 by now. 69, it's going to be 300, 350. Never hit those numbers at all, even in the height of it all. But what the mayor doesn't say is that these buildings will soon turn into ghettos and slums, and that everybody will continue leaving New York. And as this spreads throughout the country, very much like an uncontrollable form of cancer, the country itself will be taken down. It will be third world, strictly third world. And it's happened many times before to very big and very powerful countries. But it's not going to happen to the United States of America. No way. Because communism really is the past and freedom is the future. That's what we are. All we want is freedom. Freedom is going to be, freedom gets you everything. Everyone needs to get out and vote in the midterms. We have to win this election. This election is very vital. If we don't, everything that we've gotten so much. I mean, religious liberty, but we've gotten so much. Our military is the strongest in the world. I built it during my first term, strongest in the world. And people respect us again. They respect us maybe like never before. We were laughed at a year and a half ago. We were laughed at. And now we're the most respected nation anywhere in the world. And in our 250th year, we will make our nation stronger and safer, better, more prosperous, and more faithful, very important, more faithful than ever before. Today,
Yeah, Chad, a lot of people are upset with Donald Trump right now because he did not sign that housing bill, that both sides agreed upon, that housing bill to lower housing costs, but at the same time, uh, bringing more properties and homes to the marketplace. That housing bill that both sides agreed on is a pretty good housing bill. It will able more families to afford housing at a reasonable price, though it also will drive, like, if you already own a home, it will probably bring the value of your home down, but at the same time, it will bring housing, it will make housing affordable for the average American, because 50% of America, don't invest in the stock market. So 50% of America really going through it right now, probably more than that, but it's a lot of people that's going through it, and if it's a way that they can bring affordable housing where when you go to purchase a house, you can get it at a good price, because a lot of these houses, like in the hoods, in the ghettos, in the hoods of America, a lot of those houses out there, the bandos are even expensive these days. Back in the day, in the hood, you can get a good bando, a fixer upper, for 15, 20, 30,000 where I'm at, and do a little rehab to it, and then, rent it out or flip it. These days, those same bandos are, like, in my area, I'm talking about my area, these bandos are now over 100,000, with no work done to it. So that housing act it won't bring those housing prices, like, down like they used to be, like in 2016 and 17, but it'll bring those prices down at least 10 or 20% from where they are right now. And a lot of people can use that discount and afford some of these houses, So, but Donald Trump didn't sign that bill, and a lot of people are mad because he didn't sign the bill, but he didn't sign the bill because he want that Save America Act bill signed. So he using that as leverage. The Save America Act is basically voter ID, which has something to do with security. So you can find out about it and see which way you want to go. In my opinion, me personally, security and securing the border and voter ID is very, very, very important. For some people, especially these days, because a lot of people can't afford a lot of things, a lot of people don't care about that no more. They just want to be able to afford a house, afford shelter. They just want to be able to afford food and groceries and things like that. So right now, a lot of people with boots on the ground don't even care about that Save America Act. So that's what's going on with that. Donald Trump is using that as leverage. Okay, y'all don't want to come together and pass my Save America Act. I'm not going to sign this housing bill. And that's where we are. That's where we at right now with that. So it's just how you want to look at it. What makes sense for you and your household. Now for a person that they just work a 9 to 5, they tired of paying rent, they want to own a home, but the house prices are high, interest rates are up, they want this housing bill signed so they can buy their first home, which is probably a large part of America, so But Donald Trump, he wants that Save America Act passed, particularly before the midterm, because that means that a lot of people, it's a lot going on behind the scenes when it comes to that. A lot of people that are voting, it's easy to get an ID. Well, now it's a little bit harder, but before it was kind of easy for them, to get by, and have the authority to vote. So with the voter ID, it's going to be real difficult, for them to slip through the cracks, because you have to show your birth certificate and all this other kind of stuff. So it's all for the security of the country, right? So it's just how you look at it, and what's best for you and your family. So, but the only thing I think about, when I think about that housing bill, one of the few times the Democrats and the Republicans actually came together on something for the people. They came together and it passed, with both parties coming together and supporting this housing bill. And, when it's passed through the House and the Senate, it goes through to the president's desk, and the president signs off on it and it becomes law. Well, when the bill got to the president's desk, he refused to sign it, which was crazy. Usually when it's like that, when the both parties agree and the bill goes to the president's desk, majority of the time he signs it, but Donald Trump said that he was not going to sign that bill because until the Save America Act bill is signed. So that's what happened with that.
Today we have the largest economy on earth. We're expanding at a degree and to a degree that nobody thought possible. They never thought what we're doing for the last year and a half. It's only a year and a half. What we're doing for the last year and a half, nobody thought was possible. We have the strongest military on earth. We have the most powerful technology on earth. We're winning on AI. We're winning with automobile manufacturing. Do you see how many plants are coming back into the United States? Tariffs. If they don't come in, they have to pay massive tariffs. Make your car outside, but you have to pay massive tariffs to come in. If you build your car in the United States using U.S. workers, our great American workers, you don't have any tariffs to pay. So they're all pouring in. It should have been done years ago by other presidents. We have the greatest culture on earth, and above all, we have the greatest people on earth. We do. We have the greatest people. But think of it. I was with the king of Saudi Arabia, and he said, Mr. President, 2 years ago, your country was dead. It was a dead country. And today, you're the hottest country anywhere in the world. It's amazing what's happened. We were laughed at. We had a man who couldn't speak, couldn't think. He didn't know what the hell was happening. Kept falling down all over the place. If he was standing here now, he would have been off the stage before he started. But if he was standing here now, he wouldn't know how to get off the stage. You had to lead him off the stage. It was a disaster, and it was a rigged election. But we did it again, and we got it right. Too big to rig. We made it too big to rig. It was a rigged election. And look what happened because it was a rigged election. 25 million people came in, many criminals, murderers, 11,808 murderers, more than 50% of who created more than one murder, murdered more than one person. These are not going to be the citizens of our country. There's not a thing you can do to change that. But drug dealers at the highest level, the worst, some of the worst people on earth came in through open borders, Joe Biden's, but really it was the ideology's open border policy where everybody could come in. They came from all over the world. They emptied their prison populations into the United States of America. Think of that. But we're getting them out. We're getting them out faster than anybody can imagine. And we're going after the bad ones first. We're getting them out. Last week, we signed a historic agreement to accomplish what no president has ever been able to accomplish before, that Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. We're not going to let that happen. And thanks to the power and skill of the United States Armed Forces, Iran today has no Navy, no Air Force, no anti-aircraft capability, no radar, virtually no manufacturing. Their drone capacity has been cut by 82%. Their missile capacity has been cut by 80%. Their rocket launchers have been cut by 90%. Their leadership has been killed a first time, and their leadership has been killed a second time. And nobody wants to be the leader of Iran anymore. They said, who would like to be the president? And everyone said, no, thank you. It's amazing. And then the fake news, like the New York Times, which is a failing publication. But the fake news, ABC, so bad. ABC television network, fake ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN. They actually said for a little while, it didn't play well, that Iran was much stronger today than it was 4 months ago. Think of it. They have no Navy. They have no... They said they're stronger. They're dying to make a deal. They're giving us a lot. This should have been done over the 47-year period that they've reigned with terror. And that's what they did. They reigned with terror. When you see a young man or woman walking around without legs or without arms or a face that was obliterated, it happened from the roadside bomb that was created, the creation of General Soleimani, who I killed in my first term. And that was a big killing. He was a mad genius, but he was going to knock out 5 of our military installations. I found out about it. And in all fairness, Israel was supposed to do it with us. And the night before that took place, we heard from Israel that they will not be doing it. They don't want to do it. And I said to a couple of generals that we had, who were very good, I said, what do you think, generals? Can we do it? Because we worked on it for 30 days, worked on it with Israel. They said, we'll do it, sir. Can we do it as well? We'll do it better. And he was dead the next day. He was dead in the valley of death. He died in the valley of death. We had him all. We knew when he was coming, where he was coming, how he was getting there. We knew everything, but we lost our partner. I don't blame him that much, to be honest with you, because it's tough stuff. But they told us the night before they won't be doing it. We did it ourselves, and we did it so incredibly well. We also took out the head of Iraq's ISIS division, and we took out both of them by luck with Iraq. But had he lived, because he was a brilliant general, very sick man mentally, but he was a brilliant general, it may have been a different story. I don't think so. I think we would have.
Let's see, 838, the 300 billion, that is Iran's assets. It's not America's. America has Iran's assets frozen, and what he's giving them is theirs. It's not ours.
Knocked the hell out of him, whether he was there or anybody else was there. But he was a brilliant general. It was one of the biggest things ever to happen in the Middle East, the killing of Soleimani. People have said it's the biggest thing to happen in 100 years because he was a dominant force. I actually think that Khomeini and all of the people in Iran were happy about it because they were afraid of him too. Over the past few weeks, the stock market and your 401ks skyrocketed upward like pretty much nobody's seen before. Oil prices are plummeting downward, and the world is a much safer place. We had to take that detour to knock out Iran. If we didn't do that, and we still have a fight. They have some capability, not much. They're not winning or anything, but they have some capability. They can still shoot. You know, they shot a drone yesterday at a big ship going into the Hormuz Strait. They shot 4 of them. We knocked down 3 of them. One of them, I guess, we didn't miss it. Nobody saw it coming, and it hit a ship and did some damage. But you can't do that stuff. But very soon we're going to be at $2.50 gasoline. You know, I was in Iowa making a speech the day before we did the attack. And again, we had to turn it around. Everything was going so well. It's like, you're doing so well. We have the best economy. Everything's great. And I say, I brought my people into the room, my financial people and other people. I said, listen, We just set a record in the stock market. We just set a record in every single thing, including 401ks. Your 401ks, most of you have 401ks, are at the highest they've ever been, everything. But this was true 3.5 months ago, before the attack. Everything was good. We had records on everything. We were doing great. And I said, I hate to tell you, but we're going to have to take a detour. We're going to have to go to war or go to a military operation, which my people would prefer that I use as a term because war means things that they don't like. But whether you call it war or not, it is what it is. And we're going to go down to the Islamic Republic of Iran, and we're going to have to hit them very hard. And don't forget, when Barack Hussein Obama did the JCPOC, if you look at that, Barack Hussein Obama, have you heard of him? He was a disaster. He was a disaster. He gave them $1.7 billion in cash, $1.7 billion in cash, and tens of billions of dollars. Gave it to Iran, thought he could buy their friendship. And it was just the opposite. They used the money and they built missiles and everything else. And I terminated the JCPOA. It was his agreement. It was the Iran nuclear deal. It was a disaster. By the way, it expired a long time ago, but I terminated it long before it expired. If I didn't do that, Iran would have had a nuclear weapon. If I didn't send the B-2 bombers in 10 months ago, they would have had a nuclear weapon. We obliterated that nuclear dust. Very important. And then you wouldn't have Israel. Israel would be gone. I know you have a lot of good fans of Israel in this room. And Israel would have been gone, and probably the Middle East would have been.
So what people got to understand is that this money that they're talking about that they're giving Iran is not U.S. tax dollars. It's Iran's money that America has frozen. If I remember correctly, I think it's President Carter who froze Iran's assets back in the day. So we got to understand that this money that they are giving Iran, it's not taxpayer money. It is Iran's money that America has been holding for decades. So we got to understand that, Chad. So we got to understand that. And yes, for political reasons, they're going to say this and that. But what you got to understand, even with Obama, that money that Obama gave Iran and that his Iran deal, that was Iran's assets that America had froze. So we got to understand that that's not American taxpayer money. It's not. So we got to understand that.
Gone. And they could have taken a shot. We would have wiped them out pretty quick, but they could have taken a chunk of us too. But in my first term, I created the greatest economy in the history of the world. The first term was a great success and rebuilt the military, did everything. But now we're blowing it away. We're doing much better this time. And again, we did have to make that excursion. How would you like to be given the best numbers we've ever had as a country and tell people, guess what, we're going to war? And nobody in the room knew what I was talking about because it wasn't their thing. And I said, we got to stop them from having a nuclear weapon. Because you want to see problems? Let a crazy country have a nuclear weapon. You'll see problems like you've never seen before. The stock market has set 73 all-time record highs since the election. And more Americans are working today than at any time in the history of our country. That's pretty good. In January 2025, we inherited the worst, most dangerous, most wide open and insecure border in history. I actually think in the history of the world, I don't think it's just here. You could just walk into the country, and again, they were letting prison populations, they were taking buses and dropping them off at our border, and people coming out, murderers coming out of prison, drug dealers, the worst people. They made our criminals look like nice people. That's the only thing nice. Our criminals, for the first time, looked very nice by comparison to these people. But they dropped 25 million people over 4 years into our country. And it's the single hardest job I have, getting them out. We're getting them out pretty rapidly, but it's a very hard thing. But think of it, prison populations from the Congo, from all parts of South America, from all parts of the world, were taken in, driven through Mexico and dropped off in our border, and they would walk right into our country. And we've quickly turned it into the strongest and most secure border in the history. We have the strongest border we've ever had now. And for the past 13 months, 0 illegal aliens have been admitted into the United States. 0. We have 0. And those are the numbers, they report them. And they're taken by sort of a left kind of a group. The stats, you know, if anybody did, they'd like to report them. But we have 0. And they don't even try because they know they're probably not going to get in, so they're not going to make this very dangerous march. We're saving a lot of lives. Because in those caravans, remember I named them caravans, they'd have 25,000 people, sometimes more. But they'd come up from South America and all through Mexico. They'd go all through. And they go through jungles in Colombia, really tough jungles too, dangerous jungles. And women would die and women would be raped. Remember when I said they get raped, crime, murder, and everyone, my first speech was controversial. When I announced I was running, everyone said, "What do you mean raped?" What I said was peanuts compared to what happened. And the women would come up and they'd die, they'd be raped. A lot of people would die on those caravans. The journeys up they call them journeys through hell. Because they had to go through jungles, they had to go through very dangerous areas. And the people that got here would just walk right into our country. We had no idea who they were. Nobody would even stand there and check. They just came in. Come on in, come on in. This was Sleepy Joe Biden's ideology that was forced on him by much.
Hold on a second, Chad, because Trump made a statement saying that the money that Obama gave Iran, he put it like it was taxpayer money. Like he just gave them money. So I said already that the money that both of these presidents are giving Iran is not our money. It is Iran's money. So I got to back it up with the Google search because, that's what people like to see. So I'm going to go and put it on here. Right here. Was the money Obama gave Iran taxpayer money? No. This was Iran's own money. So right there, even though I knew this already because I read the transcripts, but a lot of people like to, you got to show it like this. So for educational purposes, I asked Google, was the money Obama gave Iran taxpayer money? No. It was mostly Iran money that's been sitting frozen in American accounts, plus the interest. It was principal and interest. See? 400 billion, that's the principal. That's how much money was in there. And over the years, it grew interest. That's why I always talk about long-term investing. Even Iran investing in America. Look, 400 million principal. This was Iran's own money. It came from a trust fund, right? Remember I talked about earlier, I said that President Carter was the one that froze these assets. The pre-revolutionary Iranian government paid to the United States in the 1970s for military equipment. It's been sitting in a trust fund, building interest. Now Iran wants that money. It's been building interest for 40 years, and they want to cash out. That's what that is. Iran is ready to cash out. It's called Stack Money, Act Broke that I talk about all the time on the channel. The 1.3 billion interest, that's how much interest. Crazy, crazy word. So there it goes. Let's get back over here and listen to the president. So this money that Iran is getting, it's not American money. It's investments. like what I talk about all the time on the channel, long-term investing. You make proper investments and you sit on it. That's how you build wealth for you and your family. So we got to understand that. So that's all Iran did. Some investments that sat into a trust fund, and the interest has built a whole lot of assets for Iran. And now it's 40 some years later, Iran want their assets. So with this these bills that Obama and Trump been making, these deals that they've been making with Iran, they're giving them bits and pieces of the money. You know, that's what they're doing. In other words, they are being a financial advisor for Iran. You know, when you have a financial advisor, you got some kind of firm that's over your accounts, and you got to go to them to get money here and there. But America was saying, well, look, I'm not going to give it all to you. I'm going to give it to you bits and pieces here and there. Treat them like kids. That's how America been treating Iran, like kids. Now, I mean, they say we grown now. We want our fortune. That's what's going on. Hold on. Let me get back over here.
Drop
Boom.
in the murder rate ever recorded in our country's history 125 years ago. Think of that, think of that. The year 1900, that was before my father. My father would hate me saying that because it's a long time ago, but that was before my father was born. I had a wonderful father and mother, and family. But
Hold on,
the
Chad.
lowest murder rate in 125 years, Washington.
Somebody talking to me on Kick. What's up, Kick? Shout out to Kick. Appreciate y'all for coming through, rocking with me. Hey, homie, I can share your stream in a Kick community to help hit 1,000 followers and 800 viewers, and also earn $1,000 per stream. Add me on Discord. Matt, I appreciate the offer, bro. But I'd rather build, big, I don't mind building and getting it out the mud. I prefer building it brick by brick because I got a long-term plan with this. So I don't need nobody, if you want to promote it on your own, cool. But I don't need nobody to do those things. Because a lot of times when my experience is that when people, share your stuff and bring you followers, they use that on you on the back end. So, I like to just build how I'm building. If you rock with me, you rock with me. If you don't, you don't. You know what I'm saying? I just try to tighten up my backstroke, and just go live and create my content every single day. Eventually, people will come rock with me, and it'll be organic. I don't want to reach out to people and say, "Hey, promote my social media. Hey, promote this. Hey, promote that." Nah, I'd rather build it like I've been building it. Because I understand it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. I'm very, very patient, Matt. I'm very, very patient. I understand what it takes to build things. So I'm all right because I love doing this. I love coming on here doing this. So I'm having a good time with it. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say all the time, you got to love what you do. When you love what you do, I'm too concerned about what I'm doing, right? And if people rock with me, they rock with me. If they don't, they don't. That's how it goes. Build it brick by brick. It's more sustainable and it's more strong and sturdy like that, especially when it comes to social media. You know what I'm saying? It's more sturdy, But I appreciate the offer. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate it. But, that's not my concern. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, all they worried about is likes, views, subscribers, etc., etc., etc. Who's in the comment section, who's here, who's not. I don't worry about all that. I worry about what I do. I'm more concerned about this. Whatever side, I'm more concerned about that. You know what I'm saying? I'm more concerned about what I like talking about. I'm more concerned about what I love to do. And if people, like-minded people will come rock with me. It'll take time, right? But it take time to shine. That's why they ask behind. I'm using the same principle that I've used to build businesses. Same principle, long term. You know what I'm saying? From the ground up. I'm not, some people, they start something, and if it don't work out in 90 days, if it don't work out in 6 months, they quit. Or if they get a whole lot of success in the beginning, and then it goes back down, they quit. That's not good business practices. It's not. It's not good practice on building something. Whatever it is. It could be health. It could be fitness. It could be building a house. Whatever the case may be, it takes time. And you got to have patience. That's what a lot of people don't have these days, chat, is patience. Too anxious. Can't watch an hour live. Can't watch a movie for 2 hours no more without picking up the phone. Can't watch a video past 5 minutes. It's just anxious. Want it right now. We'll take it from the OG. Success comes over time. Life is a marathon. It's not a sprint. That goes with everything in life. It goes with your health. It goes with if you buying stocks, stacking up these stocks in the stockpile. It goes with building social media. It goes with building a taco stand. Everything take time, right? Everything take time. The next thing you know, 5 years have passed, 10 years have passed, 15 years have passed, even on your job. I just got through talking about that about 45 minutes ago. Most people don't want to work. They ain't patient enough to work a good job for 15 years straight, for 20 years straight. But the key is you got to find something you love to do. So many people are on these jobs that they don't like. That's why they don't last long. People work 6 months and quit. People work 90 days and quit. People work a year and quit. Instead of holding long-term sustainable, 15 years, 20 years, 25 years. Staying down till you come up. Having a plan and focusing on your plan every single day. It's all it takes. Trying to hurry up and shine. Trying to hurry up to get a lot of followers. Trying to hurry up to get a lot of people in the chat. Trying to hurry up to get a lot of people, at the taco truck. You got to focus on your craft. You got to focus on how good the tacos taste. You got to focus on the product. You got to focus on the service. In order to do that, you got to love the craft. You got to love it. If you don't love it, you're not going to be able to, you're not going to do it that long. You're going to get burnt out. It's going to cause mental anxiety. Yes, when you're working on the job or you're doing something that you really don't like, it causes stress on your mental health and on your mental and your physical health. That's why I always say you got to find something you love to do. You got to find something that you love to do. If you love building houses, if you love working on cars, if you love cutting hair, if you love driving, Some people love riding around all day smoking weed. Well, if you love riding around all day swinging and banging, go get your CDL and become a truck driver. If you love building a house, start marketing to people that, hey, I know how to build houses. And understand it take time and work on your craft. Very, very important. Work on what you love to do. Everything else comes with it. Everything else comes with it. Why you think Amazon and Microsoft and Google and Apple and SpaceX, Tesla, and all these companies that we know, like, and trust, and we use every single day? Why you and Facebook and all these companies have become so successful? Is because those guys that started those companies, they love doing what they do. Elon Musk loved building rockets. Amazon, Jeff Bezos loved what he do. Mark Zuckerberg, who owned Facebook, we all know the stories. He built Facebook and, he quit college. He loved building apps. You got to find something that you love to do. And the quicker you find what you love to do, the quicker you will become successful. We got to stop worrying about things that don't matter and focus on what does matter. There's so many people that's focusing on shit that don't matter, chat. They don't even know what they love to do. They don't even know that they haven't even found their skill. It's people my age don't even know what their skill is, chat. But the good news is you can find your skill, what you love to do, and work on it every single day. Put you a plan together. See, my plan is not that, it's real simple because I've been doing this for 26 summers. And every single day I still look at my plan every single day. No matter what it comes to. Whatever I love to do. That's how I'm gonna find out what you love to do. And then put you a plan. I love creating content now. I love telling people what I've learned over my 52 years. I love doing that. I'm more focused on that than how many people is in the chat, how many people are watching. It don't matter because guess what? I'm going to do this every single day. I'm going to do it every time because I love what I do. I love helping people. I love it. And once you love something, that's what matters. All that matters is doing what you love. Just like LeBron James. People wonder why. Dang, he's a billionaire. Why is he still playing basketball? Because he loves what he does. That's why. This is the Freedom of Speech channel. Freedom means a lot of things, Chad. What freedom means to you is what freedom means to you. What freedom means to me is what freedom means to me. Some people's freedom is going to work every single day doing something they love to do. Let me say it again. Some people's freedom is actually going to clock in at that 9 to 5 because they love their job. Now, if you clocking into a 9 to 5 and you don't love it, that's a whole different life. That's why I always say, find something you love to do. LeBron James, I think he's 40 years old. He's a billionaire, and he's out there playing basketball like he's 15 years old because he loved that. He's free. Everybody's freedom is different. You got to understand that. And it starts with what you love to do. What you love. Some people love working on bridges in the hot sun. If that's what you love to do, that's your freedom. Freedom, when it's not freedom, is when you're doing something that you do not want to do. It's actually not healthy. Whenever you go somewhere and they got an attitude, it's not that they don't like you, it's because they don't like that job. That's why it's very important to find something that you love to do and master it. That's very, very important, chat. Very, very, very important. Very important. And understand, have your goals, whatever they might be, whatever your goals are, your end goal, and what you got to do to get there. I don't know what you got to do to get to your end goal. All I know is what I got to do to get to my end goal. You know, if I don't approve of what you're doing, I don't understand your goal. All I gotta do is sit and wait and see how it turn out. That's it. So that's where I'm at with that, Matt. You know what I'm saying? I'm not rushing none of this. You know what I'm saying? I'm not rushing it. I love what I do. That's why I take my time. Long as God wake me up every single day, and I know I got a long-term goal, I'm going to get there. I'm going to get there. And it's going to be ups and downs. I understand that because I've been there before, right? I've been there before. I've been working for myself. I've been working for myself for so long. I understand it's going to be good days. It's going to be bad days. It's going to be great months. It's going to be bad months. That's just how it works. Like a lot of people might be watching. Okay, as an example, you know, I used to have a lot of people come to the lives. Well, it ain't that many people come no more. If that bothered me and I was worrying about that, right, I could have quit or not be motivated to do this no more. But that's not the reason why I signed up for this. It's not. And I understand. Once I found out that I love doing this, that's all I care about. So it's going to be ups and downs. Like I said, I understand building things. I understand that. So I understand it's going just like the stock market. It's going to be ups and it's going to be downs. I understand that. I'm prepared for that. But guess what? I love what I do. So my love for what I do means more than the ups and the downs. Because I understand it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Now, if I didn't love it, different story. But I love it. That's why it's very important. Knowledge and wisdom and understanding is very, very important. Because I've been there before. So I understand. It ain't somewhere I ain't never been before. Now, if I ain't never been there before, you know, get in success, and then all of a sudden it's not successful because, you know, just like a taco truck. Maybe you're selling 100 tacos a day. All of a sudden, in 2026, you're not selling 100 tacos, or you, as an example, you're not selling 1,000 tacos a day. Now you're only selling 50 or 60. You got to understand business. Sometimes it go up, sometimes it go down. That's why it's very important on what you do on the back end. Now, if you're selling 1,000 tacos a day and you spending the money that you're making from the business, then you're gonna be, you know, you're gonna have some kind of mental collapse when you're only selling 50 tacos and you done spent all the money. Very, very important. So let's keep this going. I know I went on a little bit, but Matt came in talking about followers and viewers. That's not my concern. My concern is putting out this information. And, you know, I hope what I just said, I hope that, you know, somebody catch on that this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. It takes time to shine. That's why they ass behind. So let's go.
D.C. is now one of the safest, most beautiful cities in the country. And just a little while ago, it was a killing machine. Think of that. A year and a half ago, Washington was a very unsafe city. Now it's one of the safest cities in the country. It's one of the most beautiful cities. Doug Burgum and myself and a whole group of people did a great job on the monuments and fountains. The reflecting pool is so beautiful. They tried to destroy it. They cut it up with a buck's knife and tried to destroy it. And it's in great shape now. They're terrible. They're vandals. They've caught 6 of them, I guess, maybe more. They've got others in line to be caught. But we just inspected it. We'll fix it right after the 4th of July. Got to let the water out, just fix it. But we caught them. They would cut it, and they would grab this very expensive and very good material, totally waterproof, and they rip it. These people are sick. They ripped a scar 350 feet long through the side of the reflecting pool. These are the people we're dealing with. These are the people that want to destroy our country. But we've invested a record $1 trillion in the United States Armed Forces, and we're going this year for $1.5 trillion, all made in the USA. And something that's so exciting, the recruitment. You know, if you go back a year and a half, 2 years ago, you could not get anybody to join the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, the Coast Guard, Space Force. You couldn't get anybody to join. They had tremendous recruitment problems, but now recruitment in every branch of our military is setting records. 18 months ago, we had tremendous shortages and we couldn't fill them up. We were never going to fill them up. That included police and firemen. We couldn't get policemen and women. We couldn't get firemen and women. Anything with a uniform, because they were ashamed of our country, because we had people that were not respected. You have to respect the president. If you don't respect the president, you're going to have a problem. They had no respect. And now we have waiting lists. Now you can't get into the military. Literally, we went from the worst recruitment numbers ever in 1 year to the best recruitment numbers ever. And it all started on that beautiful day, November 5th, right? A thing called Election Day. And as soon as we won, before I even got to do anything, those numbers started going through the roof. People love our country again, and they have spirit. You always loved it, but you were down, you were depressed. You were not feeling too good about our country. Especially you, as people with a great religion and a fervor for Christianity and religion, you should be depressed. You should have been, but now you're riding high. But we have to be careful. We don't want to lose it. We've got to win the midterms. We've got to win the election coming up, and we're gonna be in good shape. But you have to expose them. If you don't expose them, I mean, I stand here and I expose them. Some people don't do it right. They say they're going to get free rent. Well, that's okay to say, but everyone's going to vote for them, except for a few of the people in this room. But you have to say they're going to get free rent. But in 2 years, everything is going to collapse and you're going to live in squalor. When you say that, you can beat the free rent. You can beat the fact that they're going to take your house away and give it to somebody else, which is essentially what they'd like to do. But it's happened so many times over the years with really powerful countries, and we're not going to let it happen. So we have the strongest and most powerful military anywhere in the world. I built it in my first term, using it a little bit in my second term. And we're once again using it to defend America's interests and American values. Look at what happened in Venezuela. We have a great, and by the way, we're helping Venezuela. They had a tremendous earthquake, a lot of people killed, and unbelievable, right in Caracas. And we have a lot of people over there helping, but Venezuela's been fantastic. We've had a great relationship. It was a one-day war. We hit them so hard, and one-day war. Now we've taken out millions of barrels of oil. and we've paid for the war many times over, but just as importantly, they are doing better than they've ever done. They're making more money than they've ever done. They've never made the money that they're making now. And it's really, I mean, outside of what happened last night with that was terrible what happened. It was a big earthquake, knocked down buildings. But outside, it was really, it's a happy country again. The people are happy. They're dancing in the streets. The people running it are doing a very good job. The United States has never been stronger. We have never been wealthier. We've never been prouder to be an American. Since 1776, America's story has been a tale of freedom, overcoming oppression, good defeating evil, and faith overcoming every challenge and every foe. We had everybody was winning, and we're going to continue stronger, maybe stronger. One generation, think of it, just one generation after our war of independence, the British tried, and they really tried hard to conquer America in the War of 1812. That didn't work out too well. But they failed, and the cause of freedom won, and it continues to win. The War of Survival ultimately gave America our national anthem and our Star-Spangled Banner. Many Americans know the story of Francis Scott Key writing the words of the anthem, and watched the flag under attack, and he wrote those beautiful words. But what few realize is that the very same poem also inspired our national motto. The fourth verse of the song ends in these words, and this be our motto, in God we trust. In God we trust.
Yeah, we don't hear about the War of 1812 that much. Let's see. War of 1812. That's not World War I. That's the war of its own, the War of 1812. Let's see. The War of 1812. Shout out to the military. Shout out to all the soldiers. The War of 1812. So a war all by itself, the War of 1812, between the United States and the UK. So that's the War of 1812 that he's talking about.
And as you know, the Democrats want to end that. They don't want the words, in God we trust. They want to have that stricken. They go to court. They take us to court. We're never changing that. We'll fight for that. We're not changing that. In God we trust. Better believe it. So today, on the threshold of our 250th year, this room is proof that America is still a nation that lives by those magnificent words, in God we trust. With the help of everyone here today and Americans of faith all across this land, we will continue to protect the promise of the Declaration of Independence, one of which actually is in my office, in the Oval Office. So we cherish it. We will continue to defend our values, our traditions, our faith, and our freedom. And as we enter the golden age of America, that's what we have. This is the golden age. We've never had anything like it. We have factories all over the country. We have car plants, AI plants, all sorts of plants. Our businesses are expanding. Our numbers are unbelievable. Remember that we've never had a year with so many number one stock markets. Good to have number one, because that affects everybody. That means jobs. That means success. That's good, as we said, for your 401ks. It's good for your stock investments. Everyone's doing well. We have a country that's just the hottest. It just is so hot. And I'm working really hard to make it even better. We're going to get rid of some of the flaws. We're going to make it even better. But the biggest thing we have to do is we have to stop this horrible thread of cancer that's permeating our country called communism. We have to stop it because that's what it's about. That's what they want to do quietly. And we ask that God will continue to bless the United States of America, and God will bless the United States of America because of people like you. Thank you very much, and happy Independence Day, everybody. Thank you.
All right, chat. That's it right there. Appreciate y'all for joining. Man, 4th of July is coming up. It's America's 250th birthday. And this is a special time. You know, 250 is a good mark, right? So me personally, I'm glad to be alive to witness 250, you know, 200, 300, you know, this is a good time to be alive in America. It is a big time year. July the 4th is coming up. So it's next week. And yes, we will be going live. You know, we will be celebrating the 4th of July, America's 250th birthday. I'm so I'm so glad I'm alive during this time. You know what I'm saying? To mark this 250th birthday. You know, it's a good time to be alive. It's a good time to be an American. It's a good time. So, you know what I mean? So I know there's a lot of people struggling out there. There's a lot of people, you know, 50 or 60% or more, probably more than that, 50 or 60% of Americans are catching it right now. You know what I'm saying? But what people got to realize is that you got to get you a plan together, you know, young and old. You ain't too old. You know, I got a homeboy, 60 years old, ain't have nothing. You know what I'm saying? He turned his life around. In this day and time, it don't take long to turn your life around. You know what I'm saying? All you got to do, you got to have a plan. You got to kick that spirit of laziness. That's all it be. You know what I'm saying? That's the main problem. You know, is that a lot of people are lazy. It's a spirit, you know, a spirit of laziness. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times it's generational. It's generational. You know, you got to understand, you know, you got to understand how you was raised. You got to understand where you want to go. And you got to change the way you think. You got to change the whole inside core of your inner body, you know. And you got to just stay down till you come up, and you got to work on it every single day. You got to cut some people off. Sometimes you got to isolate to elevate. You got to isolate, and you got to put you a plan together. And nobody understands your plan but you. You got to spend less as possible. Because when you spend less as possible, and you don't have, a lot of times people have bills they got to worry about. They got all these things they got to worry about at the same time, trying to put a plan together and come from nothing. I mean, if once you put your plan together, you have a specific number of what you want to do or where you want to be, you have your goal, you can't go below your goal. You know, and if you go below your goal, then hey, some things gotta be put to the side. Whatever it might be, sometimes you just gotta put some things to the side and focus on your goal. Focus on you. Focus on your goal. Because if you don't focus on you, you can't focus on nothing or nobody else. So I think that's one problem that a lot of people have. They focus on other things. They got the spirit of laziness for one, and then they focus on other things, you know, or they do go to work every single day and they spend it all. You know what I'm saying? Or they do go to work every single day and they got a lot of habits, no consistency. You have to be consistent every day, every week, every month, every year, decade after decade. You have to be consistent, you know, and the earlier you start, the quicker you'll get to your freedom. And remember, everybody's freedom is different. Everybody's freedom is different. You know, like I say all the time, as long as you happy with how your life is going, that's your freedom. health, your mental state, your physical state, your financial state. Everybody's freedom is different. You know, once you find out what you love to do and find out what your freedom is, then you're free. You don't want to be doing things that that messes with your mental state of mind. Because the mental and the physical are connected. A lot of people are angry about certain things, disgusted, disappointed. And, you know, it makes them not want to eat. As an example, well, if you ain't eating properly, your brain can't function, your body can't function. So you got to make sure you take care of you first and put you a plan together. It's very, very important, and stick to your plan. But the foundation of it is that you got to love what you do. That's the meat and potatoes. Because take it from the OG, when you love doing something, your days go by faster. You're happy. You're in a better mood. Physically and, you know, spiritually, you're in a better mood. So we got to understand that you have to find something that you love to do. Whatever you love to do. Not what Billy loved, not what Chris loved, not what Sarah loved, but what you love. And what you love to do, somebody who you with or whatever in your circle might not want that for you. That's why sometimes you might have to, you know, change people, places, and things until you figure it out. Because at the end of the day, that's what matters. You. Once you take care of you, then everybody else come with it. You can't take care of somebody, take care of other people, and then forget about yourself. You got to think about you and put a plan together and work that plan every single day until you get to a sustainable amount, a sustainable place, and then you can start adding on other things. But you got to have stability, and it all revolves around what you love to do. That's what it revolves around. What you love to do. And if you don't work, you don't eat. But if you love what you're doing, it's not work. The income just come with it. That's why it's very important to find something you love to do. And a lot of people that I talk to, most of them don't even know what they love to do. Most people don't know what they love to do. It's because they've been distracted by other things. And the focus is not on themselves and what they love to do. That's the main point. You got to focus on yourself. You got to focus on what you love to do. And that's how I go. Focus on what you love to do. Learn about it. Right? And once you find something you love to do and you work on it, you become good at it over time. You become good at it. Then you master it. Then you find the finances come on the back end. You're starting to go to school or whatever the case may be. Go to school for something you love to do. Next thing you know, them 4 years will go by real quick. Why, Stock Sniper? Because you love doing what you do. You love doing what you do. You're happy. You communicate with people differently. Your eating habits have changed. Your whole, physical aurora on how you move. Your body English will change. And it's good on your health. Your subconscious mind, which is very, very important. The next thing you know, you get to rolling. You know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, a week passed, 2 weeks, a month, a year, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. That's how it works. A lot of people fighting the spirit of laziness. You got to find something you love to do. You got to break that spirit of laziness by activity. Once that spirit of laziness get on you, chat, it's hard to get off. And like I said, some people, particularly in 2026, a lot of people, it's been passed down through generations. If you used to see your mama and daddy not working, your uncles, your nephews, whatever, not working, not being productive, not being active, 8 times out of 10, the kids are not going to be active. The kids are going to follow in those footsteps. It's called the blind leading the blind. So that spirit of laziness is probably worse than a crack addiction. I said it. The spirit of laziness can get on somebody so hard, it can be worse than a crack addiction or a heroin addiction or alcohol addiction or smoking addiction. So imagine the spirit of laziness, chat, with an addiction added on to it. Spirit of laziness, you got a smoking addiction, you got an alcohol addiction, you got a vape addiction, you got a bad eating habits addiction, all that piled up with a unstable foundation. And not only that, a lot of times those people, you can't tell them nothing. That's another thing, chat. Always have an open-minded. Always, especially when you know it's the right thing, always be able to listen to what other people say. Don't be the type of person that nobody can tell you nothing. So the spirit of laziness, nobody can tell you nothing. Only people some of these people will listen to are people that are heading the same direction they headed in. The people that agree with them. That's who those people listen to. So the spirit of laziness, can't nobody tell you nothing. You got some of these people got all these different type of habits. It's hard, but you got to change people, places, and things, and you got to change the way you think. And you got to be open-minded to what somebody tell you. To the right people, not just anybody. Just like they say, everybody shouldn't be parents. They say a 2-parent household. Well, what if those 2 parents are drug addicts? What if those 2 parents suffer from the spirit of laziness? What's going to happen to the kid? So just because it's a 2-parent household, that don't necessarily mean, it depends on what the parents are about in that household. If those parents are about earn, spend less, and invest, find something you love to do and master it, teach it to your kids and grandkids, guess what's going to happen? 7 to 8 times out of 10, those kids are going to listen to what the parents say. the parents, those kids are going to have a head start. Those kids going to 7 to 8 out of 10. Those kids have a better chance to win in life. That's just how it works. So we got to break the spirit of laziness. Got to break it. And it's difficult, especially if you got habits. If you got a lot of habits, it's hard to break that spirit of laziness. But you got to break that spirit of laziness first. And it comes with changing and renewing of your mind and putting a plan together and sticking to it and finding something you love to do. Got to find something you love to do that's productive. Let me make that clear. Find something you love to do that's productive, that can take you to the next level. That's the key. Find something you love to do. And when work on that, work on making it better. See, the only thing about that, it's going to be ups and downs, but you love what you're doing. So you ain't going to be tripping mentally because you love it. You're going to work through the hard times. It's a mental thing. You know, that's what we got to understand. It's a mental thing. So I've been on here longer than I was supposed to. But it's good to be back on Money Monday, the Stock Sniper Show. Appreciate y'all for rocking with me. The walk down is today. The walk down. We back running. We back at it. So on the walk down, I'm going to be talking a little bit more about the spirit of laziness. You know, because a lot of people just don't want to work. And a lot of people, parents and family members don't understand why these people are like that. And I'm going to explain that a little bit more on the walk down. It's a spirit. It's called the spirit of laziness. And habits add on to the spirit of laziness. It just adds on more and makes it 100 times worse. Imagine having a spirit of laziness and then can't nobody tell you nothing. That's hectic right there. Those two combinations of the spirit of laziness and then can't nobody tell you nothing, especially somebody that's looking for your best interest. People that want to see you win and you don't want to listen to nothing they got to say. That's that spirit of laziness. And then can't nobody tell you nothing. And then add on habits, an alcohol habit, a cigarette habit, a drug habit, a vape habit. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit more on the walk down. So I appreciate y'all for joining me. I am your host, the one and only Stock Sniper. This is the Freedom of Speech channel. Earn, spend less, and make proper investments. And yes, your health, your mental health, and your physical health, and your kids and grandkids is an investment. So with that being said, I love and I appreciate y'all, chat. To the walk down. I'm out.